Welcome. I'm so glad you're here and that you're doing this 3-video series with me. We're going to start the first one with a really important lesson of how to stop the shame spiral. Now, we can't stop anything unless we know what it is. So the first step is going to be to identify what a shame spiral is. Well, the good news is, while shame spirals stink, there are some words that we know tell us that we're in a shame spiral. You might know them as shoulda, woulda, coulda. These are words that we tell ourselves or hear ourselves saying to other people that imply that we should have done something differently. That if we had the information we have now, we would have made a different decision. Now, what we like to call that is hindsight. There is no way to know anything that you could have possibly known back then that you know now. Let me say that again. There is no way for you to know what is going to happen in the future when you are in a present moment. So whatever you did, married the person who you shouldn't have married. There we go, there's a should. Should have asked for a prenup. There's another should. Would have preferred to actually waited to get married longer. There's a would. All of those words are leaving you in a shame spiral or a place that essentially says that what happened, which was in many ways just what was meant to happen, was somehow your fault. That if you had been smarter, more curious, funnier, prettier, fill in the blanks, you would have been able to prevent this. And I'm here to tell you that that is absolutely not true. What happened to you was meant to happen because it happened. And you cannot know in the past what you know in the present. All the reasons you're saying shoulda, woulda, coulda now is because of what you have learned from that step you took to now. So please take a minute, put a hand on your heart, and let's just forgive yourself. Even better, let's applaud you for using the information you had when you had it and understanding that you did the best you could. And in fact, we're all doing the best we can every minute of every day because we're doing what we can. So look out for shoulda, woulda, coulda. When you find yourself talking about your divorce or your relationship and you find yourself using those words, take a minute, stop, and maybe see if you can reframe it. Something along the lines of, instead of saying I shouldn't have married this person, you can say, I did the best I could. At that point, that is who I was drawn to. I don't know if you can feel the difference between those two sentences, but one for me constricts, tightens, and the other one releases and helps my shoulders relax. So just notice this for a minute. Notice what feels you feel in your body when I say, I shouldn't have married them. You can even jot down what you notice. And now, I'm going to say, I married the person who I was most attracted to at that time in my life. And notice the difference. So we want to stop the shame spiral, not just because it cognitively really hurts us, but also because it has an impact on our body. When we walk around with that kind of tension and stress, it impacts us. So part of the work that I like to do with people is to help integrate getting your mind in the right place and your body. So the second way to get rid of the shame spiral is to keep in mind when we are doing the good old comparing and despairing. So we know that we live in a culture now where comparison is in our face all the time. And so one of the things that I like to talk with people about when they are in a shame spiral is how to take good care of yourself. We just talked about one way, and another way is to stay away from comparison. You know, we compare our insides to other people's outsides. That means that we know all of the complicated feelings, the ambivalence, the confusion, the fear, the drama, the trauma of our own experience. And we compare that to what we see on the outside of other people because we do not see inside of them. And very few people truly and honestly share what's really going on. So when we're feeling poorly about ourselves and we're feeling shame about our decision, about being divorced, about being in pain still, about not being over our ex, and we compare ourselves to other people who we think are in similar situations, we're doing a huge disservice to ourselves because we are essentially comparing ourselves to somebody that we have no idea what's going on inside of them. And I can tell you as a secret, as a therapist, that what you're actually doing is seeing them in a way that you wish you could see yourself. You're basically seeing them as the success you don't think you can be. It has nothing to do with them. So when you compare, you despair. If you find yourself in a shame spiral, please look around and ask yourself, am I using someone else as a comparison to my success, to my joy? What am I doing in this moment that might be contributing to more of my shame? The third important piece to stop a shame spiral is to take a moment to acknowledge that we all make mistakes. And mistakes can be big, they can be small, and they're usually medium size. And mistakes, I like to think of it as mistakes that teach. If you've ever had a child and you want to teach them how to not touch the stove, you can tell them over and over not to touch the stove, but I guarantee if they touch it just a little and get a burn, they will know in the depths of their body and in their mind and in the heart not to touch that stove. So sometimes life gives us opportunities to learn that we don't want. Do we want to have a crappy relationship to teach us about the relationship we want? No. But they came to us as opportunities for us to learn, to grow, and to change. So if we look at our mistakes that we think we made and we see them as learning opportunities, we can stop the shame spiral. And I want to tell you something. Shame is not empowering. Shame turns our nervous system into a shriveled, tiny, constricted being. To thrive and to be embodied and to love your life, we need to rid ourselves of shame. There'll be much more about ridding yourself of shame and guilt and fear in the program. But I wanted to give you all a taste so you could understand a little bit of how we can get to the place where we rid ourselves of shame. Thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.